I'm Ralph. This is Lonneke. We're Drift. Thank you for asking these amazing questions, and we're gonna do our best to answer them. Yeah. So working together is it's positive. It's also a struggle. The great thing is actually that because we think differently, we have to find a middle ground in whereby we both agree on the direction of the work and what we want to achieve. So once we get there, to get there is a struggle. But once we're there, we know it's a good project to put our time and effort in.
Definitely Leonardo da Vinci. He combined research, science, art, technology. He explored technology, and I feel sometimes we're in that same mindset to explore how this world works, and we discover as we go, and also new ideas start in that way. So as long as all these elements around you keep on moving, you see new connections and new possibilities, and that creates new work.
I think nature is an important aspect in everybody's work. I mean, without nature, there's no life. I mean, we are nature, so it's.
I help you out. We want to. Our work is understanding nature, so we try to find a certain feeling, and we always come back to the solution that it actually already exists in nature. And this is what we found throughout all the works we worked on. So it's not always literally necessary nature, but
No, that's
it always
true.
becomes nature.
Yeah, it's the feeling that you have when you're completely, relaxed and open, walking within a natural environment. You're relating to waves crashing in on the beach, and you just get completely in tune with your surroundings, and that's what we try to achieve with our work. Unfortunately, by doing our work, we're almost never in tune with nature, but that's the contradiction, I guess, and the sacrifice that you make to create these pieces. And
So we hope you are very in tune when you look at Flylight.
yes.
We found it important that Flylight is interactive because bird swarming, where Flylight is inspired of, also reacts on lots of impulses from the environment. So we wanted the human and the viewer be the impulse for the swarm. There are sensors in the ceiling plates of Flylights, and they see where people are at, and they react to that. So the swarm actually moves towards the people, and then basically checks them out, and then loses its interest again and moves forward. So we have programmed the behavior, and it constantly changes as people move through the space. The movement of the fly lines change.
Well, we studied Design Academy in Eindhoven. It's an artistic school. It's more like an art school whereby you just learn how to use certain materials and production techniques to express yourself, but it's more about the idea of why you do certain things. So there could be a theme like do something with water, and then you were completely free to study why water was important for you and how you could create a project for that. So, and that's where we met in 1999. The first day at school, we the introduction camp. I found her very interesting, and she was a bit scared of me, but later she.
You were quite intense, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we studied design, and we didn't really learn about a lot of technology, but about techniques of making. But we became quite early on interested in moving things. And Ralph was more busy with film, and I was more busy with light and space. And I think only after we graduated, we started helping each other out, and we formed Drift. We started to work with movement, and through designing movement and choreographing movements with inanimate objects, we learned about technology, and we had to learn about it. So we worked together with so many different people. We learned a lot, and we, I think, are really good in connecting all the dots between all these technologies. And now, after so many years, we can just live and think in them. But we didn't necessarily study this.
What keeps me motivated is the potential outcome of the work. So even if it takes 10 years, finally when the work arrives or to its potential, and you see it fly or hover or start lighting up for the first time, then that feeling of like that's what really motivates me. it's almost like the opportunity to let go, you know.
Well, when I think back about my youth, I was always already inspired by dandelions. And because I had rabbits and they like dandelions, so I looked into it a lot when I was a child. And I wanted to use that structure of the dandelion that is a flower and becomes a traveling seed and starts to be a flower again. This beautiful evolution in an artwork. And so that was the starting point. Yeah, every year we pick dandelions, and we pick them depending on the weather. So depending on what winter it was, sometimes it's end of March, sometimes the beginning of June, and in this whole spectrum of months, it really depends on the weather when we can pick them. We pick them before they open up as a seed ball. So first you have the yellow flower, then it closes. It takes about a week, and then they open up again. So we pick them just before they open. We spread them around in the studio, and then they open up in the studio, so they don't blow away anymore. So that is a technique we developed, we discovered by picking dandelions for 15 years. Seeds are meant to last. So if they're in a dry climate and with no sunlight, they just last very, very long. And we use them in the dried form. So far, we still have seeds from years ago when we started.
Well, it can take years for us to finalize a project because first, you come up with the concept, the idea, then, most of the time you let it linger for maybe 1 or 2 years in the background, and then, it kind of starts poking back in your mind, and then like, oh gosh, I really need to do this, and then you need to actually start thinking, okay, how are we going to build this? Once you got that figured out, you need to most of the time assemble a team. You get the knowledge in that you don't necessarily have. You need to educate yourself on how to proceed and how to do it, and then you need to get the funding in, okay, and then you can hopefully start developing it. And when that works all out, start building it, and then find a way how to present it. So yeah, it can take up to maybe even up to 10 years.
Interesting readings. Yes, I love to read, but most of the time I wander off very quickly when I read something interesting. So I started on 100,000 books, and usually I read the first few chapters. But I read a lot about. One of very interesting book is from. What's his name? Yes, I remember. It's Stefano Mancuso, and the book is called Plant Revolution, and it's about the possibility that plants have, the intelligence of plants and how they behave. It's massively interesting. I really recommend it. Thank you for asking us these questions. We hope very much you enjoy Flylight. We wish we could be there, but unfortunately in this time it's not possible. Check us out on our Instagram, studio.drift. See you.
See you soon. Ciao.